All right, team, welcome to the Next Fitness Show. This is Alexis, Craig, and I am here with you live. Today is Friday, it is September 12th, and this is our episode 83, I think, right now. So, we have an amazing show for you here today. We have an amazing special guest today, Alice Duvernell. So, I'm just going to show you Alice just for a second. Hey, Alice, thank you for being here with us. Yay. Awesome. And we will bring you back in just a moment. Alice is I believe that your bio says that you are an ethnobotanist and just a magical being. So many different amazing expertise and talents for us to talk about here. And also, we have a stretch break. We have a move of the week. We've got some announcements, and we have some really fun topic for you in here today. So, this is a project of the Next Fitness Thing. If you are not part of our community yet, I encourage you to go to thenextfitnessthing.com and check us out. We have all kinds of fitness and wellness offerings. A lot of them are free, some of them are paid, but you can go and check it out and be part of our community. All right, so without further ado, I bring you the amazing and wonderful Alice. And Alice, will you tell us a little bit about yourself and about your passion and what we're doing here today?
Yeah, hi Alexis. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me, and very excited about sharing my philosophy about nature and body intelligence, which is the tagline of my company, Bophilia Botanicals. And I am French. My mother's British Irish. That's why I have a kind of wacky accent that is all over the place. Um, and I was very lucky to be raised in Europe and to really be exposed to European culture as a child, and then come to America and really see the difference in between those two cultures, which I'll touch a little
Mhm.
bit today. I think it would be interesting for you to know how it is for a French woman to come and live here, and what I've learned, and how there's something special I want to bring to this culture, and I have been bringing through my studies and my passion for health and nature. And otherwise, I have a master's degree in ethnobotany. So I traveled the world as a young woman, and went lots of different places and pretty much studied what people use for food as medicine. And then after very severe acne, like when I was in my adult younghood, I started really gearing onto skin. And of course, they're really
Mhm.
related. But my passion is definitely food and skin, and also psychology around well-being. So all of those three subjects are really intertwined together. And I'm super excited today to share that with you guys.
Oh, that's so awesome. Okay, I'm learning. I mean, and I have known each other for a couple of years, but more in a really different context. And so I think it's just amazing to hear your backstory a little bit more. And could you tell, okay, ethnobotany, what does that actually mean? I am not familiar with that term.
So ethnobotany is when you go into any given culture. So let's say you come to America, and you're going to look for the people that actually populated this land before colonialism. So usually we're looking at more ancient
Hmm.
cultures and more native cultures. And then you're going to study their relationship to nature, and then all of the customs around usage of food or plant medicine through that custom. So it's really the lens of humans. Ethno is about humans and human communities and how they interact with the environment. And it's super fascinating. I think it was the
Wow.
best years of my life when I studied ethnobotany in Paris in La Sorbonne. Incredible teachers from all over the world, very, very talented people. And it was just incredible to realize that our culture nowadays is just one way of doing. There's 1,000 ways of living, and this really opened my heart to possibilities of how we can change our culture, how we can create something that's more harmonious for ourselves. And
Hmm.
ethnobotany gives you that lens through the pleasure of our connection to plants and food.
Wow. Okay. That's so inspiring. And I just can't wait to hear more about this. I want to say hi to everybody who's here in the chat right now. So far, P.S., if you are here live, please say hi in the chat so we know who's here. So far, Kelly says happy Friday. Aaron says hello. My mom says welcome. Jennifer says hello, all. Lisa B is in here saying hi, everyone. And nice. Okay. And my mom says she loves your glasses.
Great.
Cool. I love them too. They're really
Thank
cute.
you.
Uh, we so okay. I'm really curious to hear. It sounds like there's a lot of depth to this topic and that we could actually go a lot of different directions here. And I know that within our community, we usually talk a lot about fitness and wellness and that kind of thing. And we've had some doctors on here before that are more of, the Western medicine approach. So I'm really curious to hear from you. What's your perspective on like the allopathic versus the naturopathic approach, or just on how all of it fits together?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Alexis. Thank you for asking it. I have a really inclusive point of view about that. When I observe, allopathic medicine, which is modern medicine, I am just completely blown away by what has been done in terms of surgery and saving people, and also like treating acute conditions that you have, like when you can't sleep at night because your whole body is on fire, or like allopathic medicine brings an incredible tool, a powerful tool to like remedy things fast. And when we're in acute conditions, like offer a solution that natural medicine doesn't offer. Or it
Right.
does, it doesn't always work, and you're not sure it's the right plant, and etc. So it's much more kind of difficult to go the allopathic route, especially when we don't have the right tools. Or, for example, when you go to herbal medicine, they're going to teach you 200 different herbs for digestion. And every person's different, right? So how do you pick the right one? How do you find somebody that's like good enough that they're going to perceive yourself as a whole and go, this is the kind of digestive problem you have, and this is what I'm going to give. So the herbal medicine is more about terrain. In France, we call it like that. And I think you've maybe already heard that word, everybody. Terrain means like, how's your immune system going? How's your adrenal going? How's your digestive system going? So it's kind of the base you have, the foundation in your body. And herbal medicine is going to help also with acute conditions, but it's very helpful to kind of regenerate the terrain and kind of make you strong so you don't fall into acute conditions. And also
I
it's a
see.
great remedy when you're recovering from something. You're recovering from chemotherapy, you're recovering from a traumatic car accident, you're recovering. So the herbal world is really going to help us work on a deep level. It's a little bit like breast milk. You have to have it every day to grow stronger. And it's such a beautiful image how, for me in my heart, both of those approaches are very compatible. And I
Mm.
often feel very sad how people like, cut off one or cut off the other, in the name of allopathic medicine, saying a lot of doctors are going to say, no, don't take anything, don't drink tea, don't change your diet. And it's such a shame. And on the other side, it's as well the same. You're going to have big populations of vaccine people, or people that are really against, the allopathic route. And I really think there's a place in the middle. And that's what
Mhm.
I invite people to think about, is like, oh, how can we bring those together? And a lot of my research, I've realized that they're absolutely compatible. Like taking antibiotics is compatible with eating probiotic yogurt.
Mm.
Doing chemotherapy is compatible with taking certain medicinal herbs that are going to alleviate the effects of chemotherapy. So
Mhm.
my dream and my wish for this world is that we actually stop fighting on each side, and we actually see how these two things can complement each other, how they can
Mm.
come together. And I often encourage my clients to look at different routes and to see what is it that they want to pick, in which way do they see a surgery could be, really beneficial, and then in which way it could not be beneficial, and how can those two things can be balanced and complementary. So that's really my vision, and it's all about inclusivity. Um,
Mhm.
and I think that's the future. That's what I'm hoping anyway. And that's what I embody, is like, stop being against, be for, and take, it's like when you're picking things in your pantry, take the things that work for you, and listen to your body, which is really one of the topic that I want to touch today.
I think there's so much wisdom in what you just said on so many levels, and I can just feel how this concept of being for instead of against in general is so needed right now, right? I mean, there's so many places in our world where it's about fighting of I'm right, no, I'm right, no, I'm right. And what if it's actually I'm right. Yes, and this. And it's really, I can
Exactly.
just feel you and the inclusivity piece and really allowing for it all to be helpful in the ways that it's helpful. That's just,
Exactly.
it
Exactly.
feels like I can relax into that more instead of having to figure out which one is right or something like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of judgment, in our world, and I think there's also a lot of judgment about our body. They're kind of connected, right? So where, sometimes we go see an allopathic doctor, and you're really in pain, you have chronic pain, and they're going to send you home with Tylenol. That's not what you need. You need a chiropractor, maybe an acupuncture, maybe medicinal herbs, maybe you need to take, turmeric for anti-inflammatory. So it's sad that the
Or
world
maybe
has.
you need to stretch or something,
Yes,
like,
exactly, exactly. So all of those things are tools, and I think, the separation we're witnessing is also promoting self-judgment and not good enough, or not listening to our intuition. Sometimes we have a really strong thing, but
Mm,
if your doctor in the white coat says no, don't do that, we're afraid of kind of visiting that. And on another side, you can go see the herbalist and say, do they really know what they're doing? So there's always this uncertainty, and I think
right.
uncertainty is very disempowering, for the soul, and also for the body. Like, I often talk to my body and say, I trust you, and I
Mm,
know this is uncomfortable and I'm in pain, but I know there's something that's happening that needs to unfold. And that relationship can be developed through self-love. So I think that's also part of the healing, and that inclusiveness, right? When we start looking at our body and go, oh, I'm in pain because maybe I'm working too much. I'm in pain because maybe I'm not taking enough time for myself.
mm,
I'm in pain because maybe I'm always eating in the car and I'm not giving myself time to sit at the table with the ones I love and just hang out and take time to eat and have a little sip of wine in between, or water or tea, and really be present in that moment of eating. And all those things really participate in our well-being, even if they don't look that important. I believe that they are. And
mhm.
one of the things, I wanted to bring up, and we were laughing about it, Alexis, yesterday, was like, look at the French population. They all smoke 2 packets of cigarettes a day. They drink like fishes. They party all the time. And the lifespan level of French people is much higher than Americans. And it's like,
Sure.
how they can possibly be with everything they're doing to that body, to their bodies. And there's really something, what that says to me is that the joyfulness and the connection to ourselves first, and then to our community and to our food and to that tactile, delicious, exquisite feeling of like feeding ourselves, or using a remedy on our skin, or taking a tincture that tastes good, um, is part of the vibration of our body. It's part of the terrain.
Mm,
Um, in France, they talk about art de vivre, which is an art of living. And when I was a
mm,
young woman, I met this incredible artist, and he said, life is a white canvas, and you can decide what to do with it. You don't have to do what other people tell you to do. And it was really empowering. I'm like, wow, this is like infinite. I could wake up
mm,
every morning and decide that before I'm going to go and run for the dollars, I'm going to stretch, and I'm going to take a moment, and I'm going to sit in my garden and look at birds, even if it's for
mm,
5 minutes. And what happens is that when we're doing that, we're feeding a part of our immune system and our lymphatic system and our adrenal system, which is all based on the nervous system. We're
mhm,
feeding it something that's going to stabilize it. So
mm,
it's not even woo-woo. It actually happens in the body, and you can see they've monitored people meditating, or eating together and making eye contact and smiling at each other when we're eating, and they've seen that the heartbeat is slower, our nervous system calms down, right? So all of those things like can be implemented in our lives, and it's a choice, right? It's like, what do we
mm,
choose? And that choice is so important. And I really think ultimately we're here to learn to love ourselves. Um,
mm.
I've been on a long journey that way of like really accepting myself and loving myself. And I can see that it's through those rituals, it's through that time we take to stretch or eat or love that we love ourselves. So really my message to the world is that it's inclusivity and just taking the time to slow down.
Slow down. Oh, okay. I'm hearing you. I'm receiving this message right now.
Yeah,
Um,
taking
in the
deep
chat
breath.
right now, okay, we have a couple things going on in the chat. One, Aaron's saying that medical doctors and alternative medical ideas are seem to be so against each other. I'd love to have them even think of each other's thoughts and ideas, right? Yeah, I
That's
can really hear the
beautiful.
resonance with you in that. And it's like you're visiting these people, and it feels like dissonance around what you're being told on each side, kind of.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, I know in my own family I'm experiencing this. There's a lot of, health issues that we're working with in my family. My mom's in the chat right now saying that she's looking for right arm lymphedema swelling reduction ideas to try. So yeah, and I just heard you mention lymphatic system. Exactly. Oh, so okay, you're talking about how the French culture is different from our culture, and how this cultural difference can make a difference in our lifespan, and it doesn't even seem like it's related to necessarily to health habits. Like, I just hear this in this way where I'm holding this, or I have been maybe, as in order for you to be doing your health habits, there's all these boxes to check, like, make sure you eat this and don't do this, but do this and don't do this and do this. And what I'm hearing you say is that in French culture, it there may be holding it in a really different way, with a lot more freedom really around what is okay and not okay, and actually living longer.
Yeah, there's something about seeing our body as an enemy, and I feel that's very promoted in this culture of like, you should be scared of your body. You don't know
Mm.
what your body's going to do next.
Mm-hmm.
And it really touches my heart and makes me sad because they have studied, really effectively how we are body coded, meaning that our emotions and what we've lived, our childhood traumas, like our stress at work, a difficult relationship in a marriage, for example, where you feel you're never being seen or things like that, actually create inflammation in the body. And there's a wonderful book that was written
Mm.
by an incredible woman scientist that won a couple Nobel Prizes called, I think it's called The Molecules of Emotion. And it's one of the first
Okay.
books I read of an American PhD that really revolutionized the medical system, because she was really a doctor. She was really into, the allopathic medicine. And she was like, wait a minute, like, why do we have so much breast cancer in America? Why do we and really looking at the deeper causes of why are we experiencing that. There's another movement called the natural German medicine, that talks about this man that lost his son in a very dramatic event. And he developed a testicle cancer about 8 weeks after he lost his son. And he was
Whoa.
a doctor, PhD as well. And it was so shocking that it happened so fast. And then he said, why a testicle cancer when I lost my son? And you kind of can see the link right in between, the
Mm-hmm.
reproductive system, the father figure, bringing somebody to
Mm-hmm.
life, and then losing that dear, dear person,
Mm-hmm.
and how it created this deep shock and inflammation in the body that developed into cancer. And what
Mm-hmm.
he says that our body is trying to tell us something and trying to resolve a wound or something that has happened. And it's like a language. And he
Mm-hmm.
really sees cancer as a growth that is saying, I need to be seen. I need to be held in that place. And it's very powerful because he did a study. So he took all of his clients and he started studying the testicle cancer, and did some interviews with all these people. Then he did ovarian cancer and did interviews with all these people, etc. And what he found is that there was always a common wound that was so similar. Um, and that's why our inner work or meditation or exercise or things to kind of be able to free our body and to express those emotions and to let them come out is so important, because when we hold them inside, the body's going to find a way to tell you something's brewing. And even if it's hard sometimes to look at certain things because we all have our load of suffering, but I really think life process is an opportunity to open our hearts to ourselves first and then to all our relationships. And I think sickness is an opportunity, even if some people would say that's awful. Some children get leukemia, some people suffer so much of things that seem so unfair, right? It's not always the case, what I'm saying. Some things happen that are not related to emotions, but I
Sure.
think a lot of things are, and that's where our art of living and our connection to ourselves and the listening of our body, the listening of our heart, I think is a first pathway to healing, and then seeking the allopathic for what they can give and the naturopathic for what they give. And then
Right.
you become part of that healing. You're not just sitting there waiting for the next treatment and wondering what's going to happen and if your body's going to be able to take it, right?
Right.
So it's really a relationship, and it's a threesome, I would say. Your intuition, your body, your emotions, your story, what you're holding also from past generations. Sometimes we're holding things from our mothers or grandfathers or our fathers and grandfathers. So sometimes the healing is
Right. Or even like
multidimensional.
really far back to where you may not even be able to even track it.
Absolutely. Yeah, like a lot of, populations that were hurt or enslaved, like we're carrying those things in our bodies because our parents have. So sometimes it's really complex to do. But one of the things I'm going to say about France, people talk, and they talk about everything. And women especially have the capacity to get together and just roll it all out how it is. And it's shocking sometimes, for somebody that's not used to it, right? But
Uh-huh.
there's a comfort in saying, "Oh my gosh, like I am feeling awful," or "My relationship with my husband is so hard right now," or "At
Mm,
work I have this really awful person that keeps on, bossing me around and I don't know what to do." And then we get together and we listen to each other. And we're not
mm.
always going to find a solution, right? But
Right.
just the fact of expressing those feelings and being
Right.
held by others that love you, I think is a real true release for the body, and I think
So
it's one
powerful.
it's one of the
Yeah, I
ways to
mean, and that's like the context where you and I met, really, right? We met in a women's group where it's like around spirituality and also around being able to look deeply at things and be able to share and to hold one another. So it's
exactly.
so synchronistic that you're talking about all these things right now too, because for example, in our fitness program, we just are in the middle right now of a walking challenge that involves learning about the chakras. So each of the days in the walking challenge is a different one of the chakras and talking. So we've been speaking a lot about how different parts of your body hold different energies and also how different kind of like health conditions could show up as a manifestation of an imbalance around a certain chakra, that kind of thing. So what I can just
Yeah,
hear what you're saying right now has is so connected to what we've been doing and speaking about in that challenge as well. It's
that's
interesting.
wonderful. That's really wonderful. Yeah. The other piece I wanna bring today is also, we have an ally. We all have a very, very powerful ally, and we more or less spend time with her, and you may be guessing who I'm talking about, but it's Mother Nature, and it's
Mm,
Mother Nature in all her facets, meaning that you have Mother Nature, you go outside, you go for a walk, you go for a hike, or you go in your garden, so that there's that relation too. But there's also the relationship to the elements, fire, water, air, earth. So all of these are grounding tools or cleansing tools for our bodies to be fed on a terrain level. And it's really interesting what the Japanese are doing. They're doing like forest bathing, which has become
Mm.
very popular, where very stressed out Japanese high corporate, guys go in the forest and breathe. And they're seeing that, there's a reduction in anxiety, there's a reduction in medication, there's a reduction in all those things. And sometimes, very simple gestures of life can feed the terrain, which really is led by the nervous system. And I think that's why a lot of people die younger in America, is because our nervous system is not held culturally. We don't have, real social like net to hold us. We have to pay for health insurance. If we get kicked out of our house, we don't know how we'll find another one. Or if you have
Right.
bad credit, if you have bad credit, it's kind of sometimes I look at American culture like a kind of a mean dad that's like, if you don't do it right, you're going to be punished. And
Right.
in that context, what happens is that the body, even subconsciously, we're taking in that information of like, am I going to do things right? Am I going to be okay? And if I
Right.
don't do something right, I may be cast away from my culture, which is what happens.
Right.
People, that get bankrupt, or, people that can't pay medical bills or things like that. So suddenly you become an outsider. You haven't, and what happens is that cultural reality, which is one among millions of different cultures, meaning it looks like reality, but it's only one of them among many, is affecting our
Right.
nervous system, right? And when our nervous system is affected, it has an effect on enzyme function. So your nerves get tight and inflamed because you're like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. You're holding, you're tightening your buns, going, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And what happens, it has an effect on enzyme function and also on digestion, which is connected to enzymes. It means we process things through enzymes. We process chemicals, we process food, we process air, we process water. So those enzymes help process things in our body and then transform them into energy, and also get rid of waste. Right? So when the nervous system is touched by a culture that is stressful, the enzyme functions like digestion, for example, which is a very simple function in the body, gets slowed down or inflamed. And that's why there's also so many allergies in this country, because we're just stressed out, right?
Yeah, right.
So there are things we can do that can help us go back and in touch with our nervous system. One of them is rubbing ourselves. So rubbing your belly, before, after dinner, or when you're watching TV, just simply, twisting your belly around with your hand and just rubbing your belly and maybe moving a little bit side to side and kind of putting your hands in there and kind of massaging and seeing if there's any tightness anywhere. So that's going
Mm.
to calm, the nervous system and help with digestive function. The
Mm.
other thing you can do is find a little patch of grass in your backyard and take your shoes off and just sit there and put your feet on the ground. And if it's hot, you can get the garden hose out and just splash your feet with the hose. Yeah, it's very playful to love ourselves. It's actually it's like a child mind energy that you bring back of like, oh, let's have fun. I'm going to rub my belly. I'm going to put my feet, on the grass. I'm going to wet my feet.
Get dirty.
Get dirty, exactly. And you can do it in such little ways. And it can be 5 minutes in your day. So
Hmm.
that's a really good technique. I take cold showers. You've maybe heard about it. They've shown that
Uh-huh.
cold showers are actually very powerful for immunity. So we're talking about terrain. And, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, never, I don't want to take a cold shower. But even if you do just your legs, put a shorts on, go in the garden, spray your legs with the hose,
Hmm.
and just put your feet in the ground. You're going to feel the circulation of your body starting to kick in. And also there's going to
Right.
be a release. So you're probably going to go, ah, right? And that's what happens when we get splashed with cold water. We go, ah, right? You kind of release something, right?
Yeah.
And that's making me think of another technique I use for stress release too, that's really observed in nature. When two birds, for example, or two animals fight,
Hmm.
and so there's a stress conflict that happened. They fight for food, or they
Hmm.
fight mate or something, so they fight. Once the fight is done and the tension's done, they're going to go away and they're going to shake themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to go, ah,
Shake it off. Like
ah.
literally shake it off.
They do, and it's so
Yeah.
beautiful in birds because you can see their whole wings are kind of going like
Yep.
this. And that's another playful thing you can do when you've faced a stressful situation. Go somewhere where people can't see you and
Right.
shake it out. Like
Mm-hmm.
literally, physically, just get it. And you'll see that your body is actually going to tell you what to do. Exactly. And that's what animals do. And
Yeah.
observe it in nature. It's so beautiful. I saw swans do it already. I saw, dogs do it.
Yep.
When after they fight, they kind
I've
of
seen it
shake,
too. Yep.
right? So they do
When I
that.
went to yoga teacher training in Bali, they actually there was a thing called TRE. It's like trauma release exercise. And they literally taught this as a technique where they're teaching you to basically lie in Supta Baddha Konasana. So, like, lie on your back, soles of your feet toward one another, knees wide, like butterfly, but lying on your back. And then to basically just let your legs shake
Yeah.
so that you can, like, shake trauma out of your hip flexors, basically.
Exactly, exactly. It's so powerful. And I invite you to do it for fun. Just even if you're not stressed out, you can just go outside, do your water on your feet, ground a little bit, take a couple deep, deep breaths, and then just shake and let sound come out of your body. And what
Mm-hmm.
happens, it releases the nervous system and you start like feeling alive again and your body opens up, and it's really great if you're facing stress in your life or even sadness. There's
Mm-hmm.
stress but there's also sadness, and just like shaking it off, releasing sound is really going to help. Yeah,
Hmm.
really cool.
In the chat right now, Kathy is saying that she loves forest bathing. Carol says, and because everyone is different, there isn't a perfect answer for our concerns, and it can be so difficult to find someone to help you find the right path for you, right? Yeah, I can just really feel
That's
that.
so
And it's
true.
like, I mean, what I always say with that, it's like you are the best expert of your own body. I mean, nobody really knows your body as well as you do, really.
It's so
Ah,
true. And yeah, and I think also those are beautiful comments. I think also um, we're taught, especially in these cultures, these modern cultures, we're taught to never be enough. So, we look at our bodies and we're like, oh, I'm too fat, I'm too thin, I'm too this, or I'm not young anymore. I have
right. The
wrinkles now.
aging thing is such a thing. We keep being told that you're worth less, especially as a woman, as you get older. And it's like, I just feel like such a lie. Like,
It is. It's such a lie. And, they don't talk about, how important women's sexuality is and how also that's also a very big release. So if you have a partner, great. If you don't have a partner, take care of yourself. Even if you're just touching your breast. And that's something I often teach women, is like just to reconnect with your breast. And it's really important to move the fascia on the breast to avoid breast cancer. So you just really just go in there and like move, all your fascia. uh, don't be scared of nipple stimulation and just like being connected, because they're kind of antennas, and they also like they give us pleasure, they give us release, they give us they're incredible tools. We're so lucky. Men don't have that. So
hmm.
let's use that also as a way of just connecting with our bodies and keeping things moving. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
that's so powerful. I mean, just so you guys know, Alice gave all the women in the circle that were in together, she gave us this like breast balm, and it's basically like a massage balm for your breast. So you're supposed to use it. It has rose petals on the top. It's like such a beautiful offering. It smells like amazing. And you're basically supposed to you take it and give yourself a massage with it. And oh, it's just seriously luscious. And I mean, of course, you could do that with anything. You don't even necessarily need a bomb or something, but having the
no.
thing is like the invitation to actually use it. And it's especially because it's probably good for any part of your body, but because it has that specific intention for it, then it really, at least for me, it felt like, oh, like I'm meant to be using this. Okay, I should use the breast balm.
That's so
So,
beautiful. Yeah, and
yeah.
we're afraid, I think that's another thing I'd say in between, French and American culture. I feel that sensuality and playfulness around sensuality are very repressed in this country.
Right.
When you're in France, you know you're going to be at the market, the farmer's market, and there's going to be a guy. You obviously see he's married, he's got a ring on, and he'll be picking up melons and smelling them, and then he'll turn around to you and take the two melons and go, "So what do you do with your melons?" And and we're gonna laugh. We're gonna laugh, and I'm gonna tell him, well, I eat them with, like Parma ham, and I like serving them, before the meal. And there's gonna be an exchange, and there's gonna be a playfulness. It doesn't mean I'm gonna have sex with the guy,
Right.
but
And it's
it
not like
means
intended in any kind of like disrespectful way or anything like that.
exactly. It's just this playfulness. And I think that's also part of the health companion and ally is playfulness, is
Mm.
joyfulness in little things, cracking a joke, touching your boobs, spraying the hose, running outside, shaking, screaming, getting it all out. And what happens is that your serotonin, your happy hormone. I don't know what that one is. Alexis, maybe you can tell me what that one is. But your happy
Dopamine,
hormones,
maybe? I don't know.
dopamine, like whatever those happy hormones are going to get stirred and lifted up, and your terrain and immunity is going to go up. Because
Right.
the more we're stressed and sad and melancholic, the more our body is constrained, inflamed, and then we get sick.
Right.
So it's really important to
And
just
like, I mean, it feels like at least if you are sad, also to express it, right? Like instead of just holding
absolutely.
it. And there's not really anything wrong with being sad. It just to actually do the like cry, weep, wail, like do the things, make art, like do something with the energy. I feel like that's been my lesson, at least over the past couple of years. I've really been
It's
feeling
so
that.
true, Alexis. It's such wisdom. So of course all of those emotions are invited, and as you said, screaming, wheeling, jumping, punching, just seeing a good friend and crying your head out. And now when I'm sad, I see people and I say things and they want to fix it, and I just tell them, I said, I don't need you to fix it. And I
Right,
don't want to be fixed. I just want to be heard. And it's great. People usually go, okay. And then you can just like be sad and be held.
right.
And it's actually really nice because sometimes when people tell you what to do, you're not present with your feeling.
Hmm.
You're thinking about how to fix it. And certain feelings are really hard to fix, or they're not supposed to be fixed. They're just supposed to be expressed, as you say so well,
Right.
Alex. They just need to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so beautiful. I feel like we could talk about this forever. So, okay, Jennifer's saying that sounds amazing. And mom is saying dad's chest shaking vest. He comes alive afterward, right? So my dad has lung cancer, right? And he has he mucus in his lungs that they're trying to help him to cough up. And so they gave him this vest that basically like goes like shakes you up so that the mucus all comes loose so you can cough it up more easily. But it's so invigorating actually that after he does this shaking vest, it's like he's all perked up and ready to go.
See, they're onto something. So it's also having that function of moving the mucus, but it's also shaking off the emotion of probably his feelings of feeling scared and feeling worried and being like, what's going to happen to me? How's my body
Right.
going to react to this? So it's also helping him like move that emotion. So we should all have a shaking vest or all find a way to shake it.
Yeah, heck yeah. Even if it's dancing, right? Or
Yeah.
whatever, go outside, shake and yell, the whole
Yeah, or
thing, totally.
trampoline, also, they've shown that trampoline's really good for sadness, because it helps you shake it out.
Jumping for joy. It's a real
Jumping for
thing, right?
joy. Yeah,
I know. I always
totally.
say that in class whenever we have like jumping jacks, that, jumping for joy is a real thing. So let yourself.
So
And I know
beautiful.
that for some people having joint issues, it's actually like jumping might be, an issue. Like maybe your knees don't want to jump or your feet don't want to jump. So like the bouncing, I sit on the ball.
Mhm.
Like I'm sitting on the ball right
There you
now. So
go.
just the bouncing action
Yeah,
is
yeah.
helpful, even if your
It's
feet
so
don't have
good.
to leave the
So
ground.
good. So beautiful. So beautiful.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Okay. We've been talking for a while. Is there anything we're gonna keep going through the rest of the show with you here and everything like that, but are there any like in this topic, any kind of final thoughts that you want to leave us with?
Yeah, I would say everything's connected, and our well-being is connected to many things that doctors don't talk about. And I I really invite you to think about your capacity to bring those things into your life on a daily basis and to seek the solutions you feel are right for you, and not be patronized by somebody. Like, somebody can give you advice and then seek the other advice, or be curious about what things are available for you. And we have so much available. So, yeah, my message is like inclusivity. And then I love wrinkles and I love saggy boobs and I love all of it, and really embracing that beauty within is part of our healing. So I invite women and men to really like let go of these really high standards that have been put around, that really separate us at the end of the day and make us less want to share with our friends and with our women's group. Like, it's holding us back. That judgment is holding us back. So I say shake off the judgment, invite playfulness, and use your intuition. Use your intuition and allow yourself to accept and receive all the possible help when you are going through something difficult, because you deserve it.
Hmm.
Yeah, we all do.
That's such a powerful message. Thank you so much. Oh,
You're
wow.
welcome, Alexis.
Yeah, I mean, you've been such a powerful force in my life, I have to say, in so many ways, from helping me know what to grow in my garden. There were things I thought were weeds that Alice taught me was not I mean, it was a volunteer growing in the garden, but it was actually a super nutritive plant that I started putting in my smoothies after that. To even when my parents were originally diagnosed with cancer, Alice like sent our whole family this beautiful package of like smells that were aromatherapy healing to help to make it so that we would be in the better state of mind around the whole thing. It's like bringing tears to my eyes to just even think about it.
Oh,
And yeah, you've been just amazing, powerful force of healing for me. And so it's just such an honor to be able to share you with this community as well. It's
thank you,
really great.
Alexis. It's my honor. It's my honor. We all deserve the best. Yeah, we all deserve the best. So
Oh,
beautiful.
well, I'm really excited to share with all of you also. So we have our stretch break right now, and Alice chose our moves for the stretch break and the move of the week. So our stretch break time, and this is your chance to actually get into your body physically. First of all, I would invite, before you even do the stretch and the stretch break, to literally shake right now. So shake out your head and shake out your arms and shake out your booty and shake your legs and shake your feet and make some noise. Blah! Yeah. All right. And so our move of the week this week, as chosen by Alice, is Happy Baby. All right. So Alice, why did you choose this move? Or this is our stretch break. Why did you choose this for our stretch break?
So I chose Happy Baby because it is connected to that playfulness. It's connecting to playfulness. It's also a great hip opener, so it really helps with like relaxing all the hip area, which is really the part of the body that's holding our whole spine like all day
Mm.
long. So yeah, hip opener, happiness, inviting playfulness in our lives, and also it's nice because it's a stretch and it's also resting. So it's got this both of these kind of nurturing and feeding into our body, and at the same time the playfulness and the opening. So I love that pose. It really makes me happy when I do it.
I love this pose too. I love it so much. It's I feel like this pose is such a vulnerable position too. I mean, when I first learned this, when I first went into yoga, I took this class from this woman who was very playful in the way she was teaching yoga. She's like, "Happy baby," also known as Happy Lady. It was like everybody just cracks up in the whole class, you know? And it's like, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what this position is. So if you're doing Happy Baby, this is a bilateral one. So you are probably even on both sides. I do invite you to connect as much of your lower back to the earth as you can. And for a lot of people, when you do this pose, your lower back tends to roll up off the ground. And so the more, of course, you want to relax into it. And even as you rock from side to side, kind of let the movement ground your lower back down and to have some fun with it. All right. So that is our stretch break. From here, we are transitioning now. Let's see, I gotta do all the things. There we go. We're transitioning now to our move of the week. So here is our move of the week, which is also chosen by Alice. And our move of the week this week is chair pose. All right, Alice, why did you choose chair pose for us?
So I chose chair pose because I feel like even if it's like a static pose where you're, staying in one place, I felt that after menopause, it really helped strengthen my core. Um, and also we've been showing, I read a lot of studies about sitting in chairs too long, and this
Mm-hmm.
one kind of has you sit in a chair, but you're more down and you're more opening and you're more kind of close to the ground. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it's just very stabilizing.
Mm-hmm.
It works on core, it works on balance, it works on opening and stretching of the shoulders. We can really see Alexis in the video. They're just like really opening, and also it's a pause, I think, of reverence and receiving, right? So
Mm.
you're in an effort, but you're still kind of receiving the energy for the top, grounding into the earth, and there's just something really beautiful about that pause. I love it.
I love that you chose this one, actually. I always hold this as like embodying a lightning bolt because you're literally in like the shape of it, but also you're on fire in this pose. I mean, it's like your shoulders and your core and your glutes and your thighs and everything is just like so I love that. I love chair pose. I also just really hold chair pose as like if you want to be able to get out of a chair, then you need to practice being the chair. Because really, that's what this pose is having the strength to be able to get up from the seated position, like what you can see in the video right there too. And that's a super important thing to be able to do for life, right? Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of women in like Asian countries and Africa, etc., they don't have chairs, so um, they sit on the floor or on,
mm-hmm.
pretty low seats, and they've shown that there's much less problems with these women with a lower back
I believe
because
that for
they're
sure. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I even saw a really great woman on Instagram. I can't remember her name, but she had women, after menopause do these things where you would sit down on a pillow and then get up and cross your legs and get up and then cross your legs and get up on the other side. And it
Mm-hmm.
kind of strengthens your energy of like picking yourself from the floor up. And I
Mm-hmm.
noticed when I started, not having as much estrogen and all that, I was like, oh my gosh, I would get up and I would like walk like this. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so old. And those exercises, it was like, what is happening to my body? And I was like, those exercises really kind of helped regenerate and keep it strong. And I think the
Mm.
chair pose is part of those, and also the other one where you just go right down on your bum and then stand back up and
Yeah,
right
heck
on your
yeah.
bum and
That's
stand back
hard.
up.
Yeah,
It's hard.
like malasana is what I'm hearing. So it's like where you can squat all the way until your seat hits the ground, right? Is
Yeah.
that what you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah.
With that, it's funny because, okay, my understanding is that our ancestors didn't have tables, right? We didn't have a kitchen counter. So our ancestors actually prepared meals on the ground. And if you're making tools, you would do it on the ground. And everything that you would do on a table or a counter or a desk right now if it's something our ancestors did, like working at a computer would not be on the list, but cooking food is something all humans do basically. You would do it on the ground. And so how would you even access that position? You'd have to be able to get down really low. And so I
Exactly.
mean the reason that people end up in like nursing care and that kind of thing is because they can't transfer. It's the number one reason that you go to the nursing home is that you can't transfer, which basically means you can't get in and out of bed or you can't get up and down out of a chair. And so if you are practicing cooking dinner on the floor, you could transfer for sure, right? And especially if you're sleeping on the ground, you could definitely get down and get up off the ground if you're sleeping on the ground.
Absolutely. And there's a cool thing you can do too in the garden, while you're sitting, and putting your feet on the ground with your hose water, is to get one of these baby step stools, the step stools that babies use to like be able to brush their teeth.
Sure.
You can
Uh-huh.
get those for $10 at Target, and you have one in the garden and you just sit on the step stool with your legs open wide and your feet on the ground,
There you
and
go.
just position is very supportive, and it's
Hmm.
opening your pelvic floor, and it's helping you actually recreate cartilage and juiciness is in those joints. So even that resting pose where you're not making an effort is going to help with what you're talking about, and for it not to happen, in the future. So yeah.
Beautiful. Right. It's malasana is exactly what you're talking about. I wish I had the video to show what it is, but garland pose is exactly what that position would end up being. That's awesome.
Exactly, and I do it often after a day of work when I'm tired. I actually go outside and I sit in that position. I can feel my whole body going, "Ah," and I make the sound, so you can imagine I'm like, "Ah." It's like that same thing of shaking. It's just
Right.
releasing, right, and breathing, and it just feels so grounding and lovely.
Right. I mean, we
Feel
would be going to the bathroom in that position if we didn't have a toilet. And if
exactly.
you didn't have a doctor, you'd be giving birth to a baby in that position
That's
too. So it's
correct.
like
That's correct, Alexis. I
totally
know, it's
position your
crazy.
body's meant to be doing. Yeah.
It is, and that's the intelligence. I think the body wants to heal. The body wants to be loved, and the body wants to tell you your story. And
Hmm.
in that reconnection, there's really such a healing thing that happens. And I feel that elementally that disconnect that we're having with our bodies, with how we look, with our capacity to heal ourselves through food or medicine, is also connected to our connection with nature, meaning that we see nature as a threat. We see nature as
Right.
this dangerous thing, where it's dark and there's bugs, and which is, it's true. Nature can be really scary, right? But I don't think nature has that intention.
Hmm.
Um, I think that nature really, that's why she prevails and like, feeds us all, gives us oxygen, gives us water. So she's very bountiful, she's very generous. And I think the disconnect from our bodies is the same disconnect that we're being taught with our culture of
Yeah.
nature.
Right. It's
And if
called
we
Mother
can,
Nature for a reason. Right.
yeah, if we can kind of see and slowly, some of you may be very related to nature and feel very at ease. Some of you may feel less at ease, but doing like little things that where you are comfortable and you feel safe that are going to reconnect you with her, I think are really related to human health and destiny. Like that relationship is just so, so fundamental. And, often I've worked with people that, didn't have mothers or lost their mothers early or had difficult relationship with their mothers. And I really saw how their connection with nature could heal that in such a deep way. And I've seen it through my eyes so many times of like, oh, I'm not just health. I don't always need, of course, we want a physical mother, and it's wonderful to have one when we do have one, especially if the relationship is beautiful. But when we don't have that, I think Mother Nature has the capacity to give that to us, but in
Hmm.
an invisible, more silent way, more discreet way.
Right. She's
Um,
always holding you all the time. You're always held by
you know,
Mother Earth all the time. She's still, like right now, she's holding you right now.
Yeah, and she's not about separateness. If you're going to see an apple tree, she's not going to say, "Oh, you're conservative, I won't give you apples," or "You're Democrat, I won't give you apples."
Yeah.
Like she's going to give apples to everybody, and she's going to give
Hmm.
apples to the allopathic doctor and the naturopath doctor. And
Uh-huh.
there's a message in there that comes from her, which is inclusivity. We're
Hmm.
not divided. We have all the same needs. We all need water, air, fire, and earth. We all
Right.
need nutrition. We all need love. And I think that's what I hope where humanity is going. The ideal of my third eye and in my heart, I'm just like, that's what I want for humanity, that we can actually realize that our differences, our political differences, our point of view differences are not essential. and they don't define us. We're
Hmm.
defined by something much deeper, which is love and self-love and compassion and understanding. And when we really start seeing those things for what they are, that's actually freedom. Everybody talks
Mm.
about freedom. Freedom is not you're wrong, I'm right.
And it's not
Freedom,
granted by any government.
no, no,
Uh-huh.
freedom is that apple tree going, I'm going to give apples to whoever the heck I want.
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of that same energy. And when you look at nature quietly in your meditation, you'll see she has messages for you that are
Mm.
so simple and yet so powerful. And it goes beyond whatever you can learn at school and beyond whatever your fathers and mothers tell you, or the doctors or the teachers. There's something really powerful in her that I think can help us a lot. Um, it's like she's
Mm.
offering us,
You're the
she's
voice of Mama Gaia right now coming through you. I can really feel it.
Yeah, she's offering
Yeah.
us real solutions, and she's offering us an example of true inclusivity and just deep unconditional love.
Right, it's like harmony. I can just feel like so much harmony, like synergy, that this idea even of survival of the fittest is actually maybe toxic, and that it's actually this there's this way of working together, and that's sort of actually how everything survives. There's no organism on earth that is existing in a vacuum. Every
Yeah,
single organism on earth is working together in order to thrive.
exactly. Nobody's excluded.
Right.
Nobody's excluded. And I think our rapport to the body is the same. When we have a sickness, when we have an ailment, don't exclude it. Don't judge it. It's there to tell you something that's so precious, that so needs to be heard. And in that compassion, the healing can really start. Um,
Mm.
and sometimes, it doesn't always work, but even the thought of it, even the acceptance of it, I think, again, has an effect on the nervous system, has an effect on the enzyme, has an effect on the immune system, and it just trickles down like a
Right.
domino game
Right.
through strengthening ourselves. And that freedom does that to us too, even if it's scary to trust, and sometimes we get wounded, so we don't want to trust anymore. But I consciously invite you to trust again and again and again and again, and especially yourself,
Mm.
you know and your body, and that beautiful expression of your body, whatever that is. And even if it's painful, just holding it and crying with it and loving it and hearing it for what it is just, I think that's the best we can do.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah,
All right, I
yeah.
have some announcements. Let's do this real quick. Okay,
Yay,
so
announcements.
one is that the Walk Your Chakras Challenge, we talked about this a little earlier. It's about halfway through right now. If you want to join this still and you didn't get a chance to join it, you totally still can. So thenextfitnessthing.com/walk your chakras. We've only gone through 3 of the chakras so far. So they're on replay. You could even take those on your own. And we're going to be doing heart chakra on Monday. So you can still join if you'd like to. Also, and these are the trainers for the Mary Beth, who has been off of our live schedule for a little while, is back for Walk Your Chakras on Monday. So if you love her class and you've been missing her, you can join that challenge and take her class again. Okay, Thrive in 30. I want to congratulate Jennifer, who is here live right now. Jennifer completely crushed this challenge. You did so awesome. And took your scorecard was awesome. All of your shares along the way were amazing. Here are some highlights of Jennifer's shares along the way of taking the classes along the challenge. Jennifer, it was so much fun to do this challenge with you. And I would say, like, as far as the scorecard situation, you were leaps and bounds above everybody else who submitted their scorecard. Not that it's a competition, really, but I'm so glad to offer you a free one-on-one session with any of our trainers or any of our people that you would like to. And I'll be reaching out to you to make sure you know how to take advantage of that too. Okay, coming up, our next community event this month is going to be fall equinox. Now, we're doing this as a two-parter, not this time. So instead of just being a walk, we are going to have 7 a.m. fall equinox yoga, and then afterward, 7:30 a.m. fall equinox walk afterwards. So it's a whole hour. It's on Sunday, September 21st, which is essentially on the fall equinox. I believe the official equinox is on Monday at 10 a.m. or something. So it's close, very close. The chat is blowing up in congratulating you, Jennifer. So that's exciting. Anyway, this is completely free. You don't have to be a member of ours or anything like that. You can come to this, and it will be thenextfitnessthing.com/fall equinox. Okay, moving on. This is a new announcement. I'm asking you to just save the date. Our next 5K challenge is coming up, and it is this year a benefit for Project Soulflower. So we did do a Kilometers for Katie 5K last year. That was a benefit for Project Soulflower. Project Soulflower is an organization that grants bucket list wishes to young adults who have basically aged out of something like Make-A-Wish, who have, life altering diseases. And that is who will benefit from all the proceeds that come out of this 5K. The dates are the kickoff, like the baseline of the 5K will be on September 27th. And then we will train for 1 month leading up to October 25th, which will be our Trick or Trot 5K. The signups are not open yet. I'm just letting you know this is coming so that you can save the day and plan to train for this 5K, and more details coming soon. Okay, if you're not in the Discord, join the Discord. I will put the link to join the Discord for the Next Fitness Thing in the show notes. Also, our founding members renewal is coming. Just letting you know. We talked about this before. I'm just reminding you. Okay, a couple little schedule notes for this week. One, this Saturday, Kathy is leading classes this Saturday. That's tomorrow. This Sunday, Kelly is going to be teaching yoga stretch in the morning, and this is a once in a while kind of thing, so take advantage of that while you can this Sunday morning. And next Saturday, Melissa is having her first full-on shift, so I know you guys got to join her first class ever last month, and this is her first time teaching this Saturday morning whole shift, so yay for Melissa. We're excited for you, and that will be on the 20th. Okay. The Walking Book Club is coming up at the end of this month. Start the book, Hidden Pictures. I started it. There's actually, the audiobook is free on YouTube, which I was surprised to find. So if you're looking for the audiobook, you could probably find on YouTube for free. And also, at least get the book, start reading if you want to be part of the Walking Book Club. All right, I think that might be our last announcement. And we have one more fun little topic while we have the blessing of Alice's presence here. So this is, I asked Alice, what is it, like a substance, or what is a product or something that you wish more people knew about that we could share? So what Alice offered for us is colloidal silver. All right, so I don't know a lot about this. I know just a little bit. I've been using it a tiny bit for certain things, but I would love to hear what this is and what do you use it for? And P.S., those of you who are here in the chat, have you heard of colloidal silver? I remember a commercial for it. Do you use it? What do you use it for? So drop that in the chat. All right, Alice, it's all yours.
All right, so I chose colloidal silver because it's a really great first aid thing to have in your pantry 24/7. It's an incredible solution for colds and flus. It's a powerful antiviral. So if you start feeling like a little bit of a sore throat or tickling nose or a little sniffle in the nose, you just take a cap of colloidal silver, put it under your tongue, and let it sit under your tongue for like about 30 seconds before you swallow it. You can also put some on a Q-tip, put a little bit in a bowl, put some on the Q-tip, and then sniff some in your nose, and it's actually going to clean your passageways and really kill viruses and bacteria. So that's one thing colloidal silver can do that I use all the time. My daughter that is just turned 18. She is also raised by her father. We're divorced, and he's very into allopathic medicine. So when she had colds and flus, he's more like, oh, give her all the syrups and the cough syrups and things like that. So he tends to give her that. And I'm like, colloidal silver. And I finally noticed my daughter's like, Mom, can you give me the colloidal silver? And why is she asking me that? Because it works. And I managed to convince her 18-year-old brain that it worked just by practicing. When you do research online about colloidal silver, you'll see something awful. You see this blue guy that made his own colloidal silver. It was a too high ppm, and he thought it was so great that he started drinking gallons of it. And it actually gave him a toxicity of drinking too much silver. So this is very discouraging for somebody that doesn't know it. You're going to go online and go, ooh, this is dangerous. So that's what they want us to do a little bit, like big pharma and all that. They're like, we don't really want people to know that there's really natural solutions that are cheap and really work, right? So I don't want to trash, again, the allopathic medicine. You know my point of view about it, but I'm just saying, do not refer yourself to this blue man. This blue man was crazy. He was nuts.
He
Okay.
overdid it like way far, is what you're saying.
Exactly. He was like, oh,
Way
this is
overdid
good.
it.
Let me just replace water with colloidal silver. You can't do that. So I would say when you're sick, you can take up to 5 caps a day, which would be, 5 like half-ounce little caps. You can find a cute little glass to put it in, and then you put it in your mouth and put it under your tongue. The other thing colloidal silver does, because it's an antifungal and an antibacterial and an antiviral, you can also use it on wounds.
Uh-huh.
People with acne or wounds or things that are infected and that don't look good, you just take a little bit of the colloidal silver on a cotton pad and just apply it on your face or on the wound or whatever's happening. You can also take it internally for candida. So any
Oh, wow.
candida, any like fungal infections, same thing, I would say 2 to 3 caps a day. And then you can do once a day once you feel the candida's gone down. And people have even successfully worked with like toenail fungus and things like that, which are really sometimes deeply rooted and difficult to get rid of. Well, the internal colloidal silver associated with a couple other natural medicine can really kick that in, nip it in the butt, as the Americans say, and get rid of it. So that's a really good one for that. And then, any, for example, animal problems, like, your dog has a rash that's kind of funky and they're itching and inflamed. You're like, what is this? Just
Right.
take a little bit of colloidal silver in a sprayer bottle, spray it on it, and not only is it going to cool the inflammation down, but if there is any fungus, bacteria, viruses, insect bites, inflammation, infection, it's actually going to work. So it's a really great, and it's safe. It
Right.
doesn't have any secondary effects. It's not going to hurt the skin. It's very bioavailable, meaning that if you drink it, it doesn't kill the healthy bacteria in your gut, which unfortunately antibiotics, even if sometimes we're super happy to have them, can do that. That's why we have to take a
Right.
bunch of probiotics, because it kind of kills the lining of our gut. The colloidal silver acts like an antibiotic, but it doesn't have a secondary effect of making your gut weaker and weaker and weaker. So it's just a fantastic medicine. I use it all the time, and it's become a staple for my daughter as well, and for myself. And any signs of cold, go for it. And then if you get COVID or the flu, go for it, and you'll see it reduces. When you already have the cold, it really reduces, I would say, the cold time by 2. And if you catch it early enough, the cold never comes, which is just wonderful. That's what I've been experiencing. I haven't gotten sick. I touch wood for so many years, and colloidal silver has really been my ally.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah.
This is a
And just,
good, yeah, go
oh, and I
ahead.
forgot to say, just, buy it online. You can find it on Amazon. I like using the 30 ppm, which is a particle per million.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just buy, reputable brand, but just get 32 ounces or 16 ounces so you have enough, and stick it in your pantry. And anytime you have something, you can say, I remember Alice, what she told us. This is what we're going to do. And just try it, and you'll see it's just so effective, more effective than any cough medicine I've ever tried.
Yeah, okay. That's great. I recently used it for that. I was going to visit my parents and I was having a little touch of a sore throat. And so I used colloidal silver and it was gone by the next day. And I felt much better about going and visiting because I didn't want to go and bring anything over there,
Right.
especially when everybody's like immune compromised. And my rabbit had an infection on his leg, and I basically, at your advice, actually took the colloidal silver and kind of like made a little pack on his leg, and he's good to go, back to normal now. And that was there for a while before I tried it, and it was resisting a lot of other things I tried. So I I've had great success with this. I certainly am no expert in it at all, but that was my experience. In the chat, Donna D says she uses it for wound care and for infections and as a gargle. Nice.
Yes.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Well,
Yeah, it's
that's
great.
great. I'm glad we can bring
Yeah,
that to
there's so
people's
much
awareness.
more. Yeah, there's so much more I didn't tell about, like gum disease, like periodontal disease, really great cleanser for the mouth. So people use it in their eyes when they have conjunctivitis, or like,
Mm-hmm.
people wake up with sticky eyes or whatever. It really cleanses the eye without it being invasive. So read
So you
about
can
it,
put it right
educate.
into your eye?
Yeah.
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah, it's incredible, and it's safe on babies. Like it's a really, really safe medicine. And just I hope I sprung your curiosity to go look online and see the other uses. I'm sure I didn't even say half of them.
Right, right. Awesome. I'm so,
Yeah.
wow. You are just a total treasure trove of wisdom and fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, you
Thank
are.
you.
It's been such a blessing to have you on this show. Thank you for coming here and thank you for everything that you shared. I'd love to have you come back someday soon. It was actually wonderful to have you here. And everybody who was here and actually joined the show live, thank you for being here live. If you watch this recording all the way to the end, thank you too. I'm just so grateful to have you be part of this community. And Alice, do you have anything else to say? Oh, how do they
Yeah,
find you? How
yeah,
does
I just
everybody
want to
find
say.
you? We definitely need to tell them
Yeah,
that.
yes, I just want to say that you can find me on my website, biophiliabotanicals.com. I'm sure, Alexis, maybe you can put a link there.
I will.
And then, I offer free 30-minute consultations for skin health and nutrition. So if you're interested by that, feel free to contact me. We'll make sure to put my phone number too. Like, text is always good with me. You kind of get me faster than email. And also, I never turn anybody away. So if you have, somebody, a nephew, a daughter, or something that's struggling with acne or psoriasis or eczema or something really acute like that in terms of skin, that's my passion. So I want to really help people resolve that naturally, and never feel conservative about sending people to me. It's always a joy. I always make the time to help people. And then if you want to improve your skin and really nourish yourself with the most incredible skincare, it's all made organically and biodynamically from farmed plants here in Sonoma, in Northern California. And it's all grown by beautiful young people that are so devoted to the craft. And I also grow a lot of roses. That's my specialty. I have the most amazing rose water. So feel free to just reach out, send me a text, email, and I'd be happy to help you or your loved ones with those basic elemental needs for skin and nutrition.
Oh,
And thank you
such
so much, Alexis, for
generous.
having me. And it's just always a joy to share, to share what we have among us, which is just healing and more love and more connection, which it just always fills my heart. So thank you so much for having
Oh,
me.
yay. My pleasure. Oh, I love you so much. Thank you for being here. And everyone have a wonderful day. Thank you for being here all the way to the end.